Check. 1, 2, check. For audio stream, check. Streaming audio, check. Check. 1, 2, check. Check. For audio streaming, check. Check. 1, 2, check. Check. For audio streaming, check. Check. 1, 2, check. 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 Left stage, stage left, mic check. Stage left, mic check. Check. 1, 2 for streaming, audio streaming, check. Lectern, stage left, check. Mic check for audio streaming, check.
Dean Bernhardt, the convocation is gathered.
Thank you, Dr. Ramirez-Berg. Would you all please be seated? We are absolutely excited and delighted to officially welcome all of you to the Moody College of Communication Spring 2019 graduation ceremony. We're here. You did it. Congratulations to everyone for making it to this most special and auspicious day. Providing our inspiring music this afternoon is the University of Texas Longhorn Brass. Let's all give them a round of applause for their beautiful music today. We'll start today's ceremony by recognizing our student banner carriers for assisting in our processional. Hector De Leon is a first-generation advertising major from Houston. He studied in Beijing, China, and served as a resident assistant for 3 years. He honed his art director skills in the renowned Texas Creative Program, and his work has garnered awards from the Austin Advertising Federation and the Cannes Lions International Festival of Creativity. He was named one of the most promising multicultural students by the American Advertising Federation. Upon graduating, he will intern at Fitzco, a McCain boutique agency in Atlanta. Let's hear it for Hector. Eileen No is a corporate communication major from San Jose, California. She joined the Moody family as a transfer student, bringing with her the strong motivation and desire to grow alongside her fellow Longhorns. She's a member of the Society for Professional Mediators and was a transfer year interest group mentor. She works with the Texas X's as a chapters and networking intern, assisting alumni from all over the world. Her plans are to pursue a career in human resources and to become a world traveler. Let's hear it for Eileen. Sarah Ramelius is a journalism and youth and community studies double major from Kingsville, Texas. She applied to UT on a whim, but now believes it was the best choice she ever made. Her extracurricular activities included serving as an orientation advisor, volunteering with the Lions Club, working as a Moody mentor, consulting for the Vice President for Student Affairs, and winning her intramural volleyball championship. She plans to continue her studies in the fall at the Harvard Graduate School of Education, studying higher education administration. How about a big hand for Sarah? Wesley Story is a public relations and journalism double major from Dallas. While at UT, he served in comm council and as a resident assistant. He also worked at the Daily Texan, holding multiple reporting and editing positions. He's a member of the Texas Blazes and was an officer in Men Can End and Voices Against Violence. Off campus, Wesley advocated for legislation supporting survivors of sexual assault and free legal services for low-income residents. After graduation, Wesley plans to become a civil rights attorney. Let's give him a big hand. So please join me in thanking all of our student banner carriers for their participation in this ceremony. Thank you. Now it's my pleasure to introduce to you our faculty marshals from our departments, schools, and majors. Please stand when your name is called, but please hold your applause until all the names are read. Charles Ramirez-Berg from the Department of Radio, Television, Film is our Grand Marshal. Jennifer Jones-Barber from the Program in Communication and Leadership. Gina Chen and Robert Quigley for the School of Journalism. Mary Beltran and Suzanne Scott from the Department of Radio, Television, Film. Josh Gunn and Sharon Jarvis for the Department of Communication Studies. Tracy Arlington and Lisa Stefchansky-DeLewis for the Stan Richards School of Advertising and Public Relations, and Julia Campbell and Chang Liu from the Department of Communication Sciences and Disorders. Thank you all today for your work and for what you do every day for our students. On the stage are several key members of the Moody College Academic Leadership Team. Please stand when your name is called, and please hold your applause until all the names have been read. Dave Junker, Director of the Moody College Honors Program. Rahinder Kaul, Chair of the Communication Sciences and Disorders Department. Joanne Sherino, Director of the Stan Richards School of Advertising and Public Relations. Barry Brummett, Chair of the Communication Studies Department. Noah Eisenberg, Chair of the Radio, Television, Film Department. Kathleen McElroy, Director of the School of Journalism, Mimi Drumright, Director of the Communication and Leadership Bachelor's Program, Karin Wilkins, Associate Dean of Faculty Advancement and Strategic Initiatives, Anita Evangelisti, Associate Dean for Research and Graduate Education, Mark Bernstein, Associate Dean for Undergraduate Education, and Daryl Rocha, Assistant Dean for Undergraduate Advising. Please join me in giving them a round of applause for all they do for Moody and UT. Now I would like to just take a moment and ask Dr. Karin Wilkins to please stand up and come over here next to me. It's with mixed emotions today that I share some news that Dr. Wilkins was recently selected as the incoming dean of another school of communication, another leading school. For more than 24 years, Dr. Wilkins has been one of the most respected scholars and leaders in Moody College, and I was honored to name her our associate dean 3 years ago when I became dean. She's a great champion for our faculty, staff, and students, and a great friend. And while we're all happy for her and delighted, we'll also miss her badly. And so please join me in thanking and congratulating Dean Karin Wilkins. Now it's my great pleasure to introduce some special guests joining us on the stage. Please stand when your name is called. We're delighted to have with us Mr. Jim Nelson, Vice Chair of the Moody College of Communication Advisory Council. Thank you. Jim is the President, CEO, and Chairman of Warren Equipment Company in Midland, Texas, and President of Warren CAT. His daughter Paige is graduating today with a Bachelor's of Journalism degree. Let's all give Jim a big welcome. The first and most important strategic imperative of Moody College is to grow our diverse talent. And Moody College has the most talented and caring faculty of any communication college in the world. Their talent, their intellect, and their passion for teaching is the foundation of our excellence. So now I'd ask all members of the Moody College faculty, including those already introduced, to please stand and be recognized. We also wish to recognize and thank our advising and support staff in the college's Office of Undergraduate Education and Student Affairs. These amazing people play an indispensable role in the lives of our students during their academic careers on this campus, and we're especially indebted to the student advising staff who coordinate our graduation ceremony this afternoon. So let's all give them a big round of applause for all they do. With the introductions now complete, we will begin the formal part of our program by honoring the graduating members of the Moody College Senior Fellows Program. The Senior Fellows Program is the original honors program of Moody College. In acknowledgement of their achievement, each of these students will be presented with a blue honors stole when they cross the stage with their major or department. Will the following students please stand and remain standing until all of their names are read by our wonderful reader today, Rebecca McEnroy from KUT Radio. And again, please hold your applause until all the names are read. Her mic is not on.
Testing. Oh, there we go. Natalie Berry, Ricky Blywise, Ernest Chan, Andrea Koss, Brandon Curtis, Sarah Eberhardt, Maria Espinosa, Giovanni Gutierrez, Tynan Holt, Connor Jansen, Talia Kopinen, Audrey McNay, Kyle Monk, Rupa Nagarajan, Chantel Rivera, Scott Rubinger, Stephen Santoyo, Wesley Story, and Charlotte Whalen.
And I think my list also has the name Alex Wilson. So Alex Wilson, stand too, please. Congratulations. Let's all give a big congratulations to the Senior Fellows for their amazing accomplishments. Now we're going to take a moment to recognize those students graduating today who are first-generation graduates, meaning they're the first in their family to graduate from college. Obtaining your undergraduate degree is an important first step along your journey of accomplishments and continued success. UT Austin and Moody College have a commitment towards supporting first-generation students, and we are excited to honor and recognize you and your families today at such an important milestone. So if you are our first-generation graduate, please stand to Fable and let us recognize you for your very special accomplishment. Congratulations. Now, before we bring the first graduates to the stage, and we shake the first of about 1,000 hands that we're going to shake today, I have the honor of sharing some advice for today's Moody graduates. This is the 8th commencement ceremony that I've had the honor of leading, and during each ceremony, I've tried to share a few remarks and reflections about your experience at UT, combined with some lessons for your future. Things I've said like, you didn't do this alone, you can persevere over any challenge, are great, and they're valuable lessons, and they're certainly true and can serve you well. But I've often felt that these messages don't match the great moment that we're here to celebrate in your life. Our commencement ceremony is special and unique from all others on this campus and all others around the country and the world, because you are not only graduating from UT Austin, but because you're graduating from the Moody College of Communication, the best communication college in the world, and the best college at UT to prepare you for what lies ahead in your future. But before we look ahead, let's briefly look back at the world of communication over the last 4 years and see how many things have really changed in such a short period of time. Back in 2015, when many of you arrived on the 40 acres, the Apple Watch was first launched, believe it or not, and that time since, streaming services have completely revolutionized the media industries. Augmented reality and virtual reality are changing how we experience the world around us. Robots are taking our jobs and becoming a part of our daily life in ways good and bad. And social media has connected the entire world in ways that are exciting but can also be dangerous. In the years ahead, communication breakthroughs in areas like 5G, AI, and the Internet of Things will continue to drive our economy and move society forward in ways we've never imagined. And your Moody College degree will become ever more valuable and critical to help leverage these breakthroughs and improve our world. About 1 year ago today, in this very arena, we congratulated many graduates, including Nigerian-born Wande Isola, as she walked across this stage. People know Wande, to graduate with a double major in PR and journalism. And about 1 month ago, she became the first female performing artist to sign a deal with Atlanta-based hip-hop label Reach Records. Wande credits her communication degrees as transformative to her life because it taught her how to express herself and her ideas. She said, "I realized language and words had power when I discovered that I could rap, and people who would never pay attention to me would be silent and give me their full attention. So I decided to use my words when rapping to uplift people and positively impact their life." So remember, graduates, as you walk across the stage today, that like Wande, your words have great power, and communication and media have the ability to greatly multiply that power many times over. What will you do with that power to make a difference in the world and help others? How will you use communication to make the world a better place? You may not know it word for word, but the official mission of the Moody College of Communication is to advance and enhance society through the study and practice of human communication. And you, graduates, you are the embodiment of this mission, and it's ingrained in everything you do. It was taught and demonstrated to you by our dedicated teachers and professors, our caring advisors, and your fellow Moody students. We advance and enhance society through communication. So I compel you, all of you, to not make the Moody mission just words, but to give it life and energy in the real world. We have given you the secret sauce of happiness and success and making an impact. What starts here in Moody College can and does change the world. So now it's your turn to make that happen, and we're sure that you will. So on behalf of the faculty, staff, students, friends, and alumni of Moody College, we say congratulations. And now we're about to start the real fun. So we get to recognize our first group of degree candidates. When names are read, so these are some of our ground rules for today. When names are read that you recognize, you are all invited to cheer or give a shout or a woot woot for your graduating students, but we'll ask the group to hold overall applause until the end of each degree area when they've all been named, and then we'll all applaud together. Otherwise, your hands will be very sore by the end of the night. So we will now present the degree candidates for the Bachelors of Science in Communication and Leadership, followed by the degree candidates for the Bachelors of Journalism. So would those students please approach the stage? And cue the band.
James Cody Baker, with honors. Emma Rose Bachner. Kristen Elise Erkman. Weston Kensler. Elizabeth Kaylee Kuhlman. Sullivan Thomas Lyons. Glendy Rios. Emily Kristen Rogers with honors, also receiving a BS in Applied Learning and Development. T. Fong Tran Nguyen. Dean Bernhardt, this completes the list of Bachelor of Science candidates from Communication and Leadership.
Congratulations. We will now continue with the degree candidates from the School of Journalism.
Wesley Story, with high honors, senior fellow, also receiving a BS in Public Relations. Sarah Remelis, with high honors, also receiving a BS in Applied Learning and Development. Stephanie Adeline, with highest honors. Claire Ellen Albright, with highest honors, also receiving a BA in Government. Suzanne Victoria Blandon. Sarah Elizabeth Bloodworth, also receiving a BA in Geography. Bria Nicole Bolden. Taylor Joy Boviknik. Bailey Ann Briggs. Haley Malin Butler. Tinu Thomas. Alexia Piwente. Tylia Carrillo. Macy Lou Carter. Salvador Hernandez Castro, also receiving a BS in Radio, Television, Film. Erica Andrea Cervantes. Sarah Shamais, with high honors. Bonnie Chu. Mia Shardy. Paul Kobler. Trenton Lee Dashner, with honors. Eric Joseph Goodman, also receiving a BS in Radio, Television, Film. Jacqueline Emma Denard. Alexandria Nicole Dominguez. Andrea Gijuara Haas, Senior Fellows, with honors. Samantha Ann Favela, with highest honors, also receiving a BS in Advertising. Tanya Nicole Hayden, also receiving a BA in International Relations and Global Studies. Sun Young Lee, also receiving a BA in Geography. Scarlett Gamis. Maria Limon, with high honors. Rachel Elizabeth Cooper, with highest honors. Mary Lee Bowden. London Blakely Gibson, with highest honors, also receiving a BA in Iberian and Latin American languages and cultures. Aiden Park, with highest honors. Juan Didios Figueroa, also receiving a BA in Latin American Studies. Maria Esther Mendez, with highest honors, also receiving a BA in Sociology. Eilish Victoria O'Sullivan. Carlos Enrique Garcia. Savannah Caitlin Jobman, with high honors, also receiving a BS in Radio, Television, Film. Lexi Hazlett. Caroline Jordan, also receiving a BS in Radio, Television, Film. Courtney Eve Joyner. Spencer Stanley Soisher. Talia Ray Hill. Paige Lauren Vasquez. Kayla Elizabeth Meyertons, with high honors. Morgan Celeste O'Hanlon. Sierra Ray Juarez, with honors. Elizabeth Gabrielle Wong. John Michael Keys, with high honors, also receiving a BA in Psychology. Sunny Kim. Siyuri Kolumbaige. Anna Catherine Louise Lessman, with highest honors. Sydney Zait Mall. Keely Funari, with high honors. Sabrina Marie Martinez. Danny Matias. Claudia Jimenez. Ashley Michelle Sawo, with highest honors, also receiving a BA in Asian American Studies. Orion Wawan. Christia McWhorter. Juan Jose Milan. Sean Adam Mapes. Ignacio Martinez. John Maluk. Madeline Ann Myers. Maria Navayas. Tizar Maria Ortiz. Ruben Paquin. Jacqueline Angel Pena. Maxwell Thomas Playa. Jonathan Theodore Palasic, with high honors. Lucas Malene Hendry, with highest honors. Robert Thomas Larkin, with high honors. Jessica Ashley Reyes, with high honors. Megan Elizabeth Roberts. Lindsay Rojas, with high honors. Abigail Elizabeth Rosenthal, with high honors. Haley Nicole Rudolph. Savannah J. Salazar. Amanda Salinas. Sally Sway, with highest honors. Caitlin Kavu. Tucker William Reeves. Sierra Margarita Smith. Taylor Maria Smith. Jennifer Nicole Stoyanova. Christina Parrish Sullivan, with high honors. Andrea Tinning. John Eric Vela, Jr. Maria Vences. Jasmine Valencia, with honors. Chantel Rivera, Senior Fellows, with honors. Brooke Elizabeth Vincent, with highest honors. Natalie Claire Walrath. Richard John Weaver, with highest honors. Madeline Nicole Wells, also receiving a BA in government. Bailey Welton. Brady Catherine Anderson, also receiving a BS in radio, television, film. Judith Avery Tanner. Alex Page Wilson, Senior Fellows. Paige Francis Nelson. Abigail Ann Moore, with honors. Haley Hess. Tanya Reza Gardono, with honors. Elizabeth Louise Hill. Lindsay Michael. Emily Bain Stone. Janan Taha, with highest honors, also receiving a BA in Middle Eastern Languages and Cultures. Adam Christopher Hoymeyer. Gage Robert Trexler. Valerie Nicole Smith. Daniela Grandanos. Nicholas George Walters. Dina Kafil. Rimsha Naz Syed. Dean Bernhardt, this completes the list of Bachelor of Journalism candidates.
Congratulations, graduates. We will now present the degree candidates for the Bachelors of Science in Radio, Television, Film. Please cue the band.
Sarah Hannah Akbar. Veronica Isabella Alvarez Ferrara. Mariana Rebelo Calmo Alves, also receiving a BS in Public Relations. Daniel August Anderson. Stephen Ryan Anderson, with honors. Antonia Antunovic, also receiving a BA in English. Michael Ayla, with honors, also receiving a BA in American Studies. Joseph Michael Bakowski. Matthew Ryan Gabrowski. Cameron Blake Belcher. Hunter Edward Brown. Gabriella Brogdon, with honors. Bradley David Bonnet. Charles Edward Bradbury. Camille Campos. Carson Lee Blair. Ethan Berman, with honors. Miranda Christine Barrera, also receiving a Bachelor of Journalism. Thomas Jinsu Baxter. Ricky Blywise, highest honors, Senior Fellows. Nicholas Alexander Bonsteel. Brittany Marie Braun, with high honors, also receiving a BS in Communication Studies. Rajani Sanchez Buking. Ethan George Brust. Christopher James Callison. Maricela Ilana Campos, with high honors. Madison Taylor Cashel. Santiago Castellanos, with honors. Mark Anthony Castaneda. Nicholas Bryce Castrina. Renee Antonio Castro. Shalavne Nicole Colley with high honors, with BS in advertising. Jared Ibana Nakada Katham with highest honors, also receiving a BA in studio art. Parker Ibana Nakada Chantham with highest honors, also didn't I just read that one? Oh, they're twins. I'm sorry. Yes, in studio art. Mansam Chan. Kendall Chapman with honors. Christy Chan Chow with highest honors. Garrick Chu. Spencer Madeline Cobb with honors. Cassie Coker with highest honors. Parker Jesse Conley. Keegan John Cook. Caleb Carlos Contreras. Madeline Francesca Danielle. Claire Jordan Davis with honors, also receiving a BA in theater and dance. Matthew John Dennison. Alexa Victoria DeLone. Emma Katharina Essler with honors. Hannah Rose Edelman. Brandon Curtis, also receiving a BA in Plan 2 honors. Samantha Deere. Jacob Christian Daughtry. Kyle Thomas Daughtry. Elizabeth Abbott Dolan. Hayden Scott Edmonds, also receiving a Bachelor of Science and Arts in Neuroscience. Jack Travis Elliott with highest honors. Alicia Nicole Durhart. David Estes, also receiving a BA in theater and dance. Elizabeth Ifoma Gabriela, also receiving a BA in rhetoric and writing. Jocelyn Alexandra Gainin. Christopher Demisio Maldonado. Kina Noel Johnson. Natalie Alexandra Fisher with high honors, also receiving a BA in American Studies. Tatum Sage Galette. Alejandra Fallardo Zayarga. Mariela Garcia. Adrian Jose Flores. Louis Fritz. Ebony Ellinger. Maria Espinosa, Senior Fellow. Michael Anthony Garcia. Patricia Gomez Palicio. Jared Gomez. John Paul Girardo Gonzalez. Heather Marie Grausfuss. Esmeralda Hernandez. Van Gunning Hershey. Ingrid Mia Hill. Juan Oscar Galvin Vega. Timothy Allen Hill II. Reacher Ayar. Oscar George Graziosi. Christian Ian Hygis. Elizabeth Ann Eldridge, with honors. Caitlin Elizabeth Jones. Jackson Meyer Grutbois. Catherine Guerrera, with honors. George Freeman Bell. Nicholas Carl Claysmith. Julianne Fagan. Samantha Lyon. Matthew Sherman, with honors. also receiving a BBA in finance. John Clark Patrick Jr., Austin Sorensen Klein, Nicholas Massey Jones, Antonio Miguel Martinez, Leah Kasher, Quinn Thomas Keeley, Sergio Sanchez, Jeff Isaac Kardish, Jackson Luke Lacey, Melissa Lamb with highest honors, Jacob Lanahan, Ellen Frances Lang, Claire Ruth Hardwick, Jade Kahn with highest honors, Grace Catherine Kavinga, Vicki Lamb, Haley Ann Lewis, Kelsey Jordan Lindberg with honors, Christopher Cameron Huttom with honors, Gia Cara Litton, Rebecca Jean Legrin, also receiving a BS in advertising, Joseph Ernest Lunghi, Riley Magee, Simrim Malik, Sabrina Alexandra Marquis, Brittany Lynn Marsh, Sarah Elizabeth McCulley with honors, Xavier McFadden, Patrick Douglas McFarland, Zachary Scott McVie, Melissa Quinn Metico, Isabella Meza Rockenberti, also receiving a BA in English, Sienan Milanowski, Martin Migote, Natalie Ann Mokre, also receiving a BA in English, Jillian Claire Kellner Molinen, Sun Nuk Win, Claire Norris with high honors, Aisha Wea Nebade, Kristen Obert Hong, also receiving a BA in Plant 2 honors, Damon Ornilas, Nicole Julian Peña, Oscar Perez Chiaris, Ingrid Pianada Orozcos, Karen Cristina Pinilla, also receiving a BA in English, Mackenzie Morgan Rayleigh, Dakota John Reyes, Max Allen Riggin, Samuel Ellis Rinkus, also receiving a BA in English, Tatiana Raquel Roberts, Matthew James Rogers, Kendrick Rogers, Lucas Alejandro Romero, Benjamin Arthur Root with honors, Juan Carlos Ruben DeCelis, Jackson Price Ruff with highest honors, Taylor Schaefer, Sarah Frida Spector, Sarah Brittany Schneider, Gladys May Seraphin, Justin William Shackelford, Cameron Michael Sonsini, Sahana Srinivasan with highest honors, Jared Russell Stratfurer, Rebecca Stewart, Carly Elsie Stockstill, Kyle Stephen Summers, Hunter Jacob Tonham, Camilla Therese Pardo with honors, Kirsten Nicole Terry, Logan Matthias Thomas with honors. Tristan Gregory Thompson. Julian Torres. Libby Toll, with honors. Kayla Ruth Tyne, with high honors. Ukiro Ukiro. Joseph Villanueva. Harold Tijo Ortega, with honors. Jorge Vega. Cristina Villanueva. Kim Vo, with highest honors, also receiving a BA and Plan 2 honors. Isabella Catherine Waltz, with highest honors. Allison Sierra Webster. Megan Lee Whitfield. Weston McKay Williams, with high honors. Tatiana Wilson. Eli Keaton Wimberly. Lexis Chantel Witt. Emma Catherine Wright, also receiving a BS in Communication Studies. Laura Grace Wright. Lee Young, with honors. Ethan Kyung Sup In Young. Alicia Ann Zapaska, with honors, also receiving a Bachelor of Journalism. Bianca Vanessa Zapata, also receiving a BS in Communication Studies. Austin Mark Zessen. Yi Yang Zhang. Benjamin Forrest Zuber. Dean Bernhardt, this completes the list of Bachelor of Science candidates from the Department of Radio, Television, and Film.
Congratulations, graduates. Now we have the pleasure of hearing from the president of the Moody College Student Government, known as ComCouncil, Ms. Bailey Swart. Let's hear for Bailey. Bailey will share remarks on behalf of all of you, our undergraduate student graduates. Bailey's from Dallas and is graduating with a Bachelor's of Science in Advertising and a business minor. She's made many important contributions to Moody College during her service on ComCouncil. She advocated for changes to help foster access and success for all our students. For instance, last year, she and others wrote legislation requiring that online course videos should be closed captioned for those with hearing impairment. She recently expanded ComCouncil's executive board by creating and adding a diversity and inclusion position. She completed the prestigious Texas Creative Program in the Stan Richards School of Advertising and Public Relations, and her focus is in copywriting. She has interned with the Richards Group and with Firehouse in Dallas, and she won a bronze and 2 gold medals in this year's Austin Addies. And her team also placed first in the One Club Creative Boot Camp this year at GSD&M. In keeping with Moody College tradition, Bailey will represent our graduating class and share remarks with all of us today. So please join me in welcoming to the podium, for the last time as a student, Moody College 2019 graduate Bailey Swart.
Thank you, Dean Bernhardt. Good evening, friends, family, faculty, and fellow graduates. There's been a lot of change on this campus over the last 4 years. So, before we begin, let's take a moment to remember all the pillars of our community that we've lost during our time here. Jamba Juice, Austin's Pizza, Vert's Kebab, Vert's, then Noon, Mujo's, Fuzzies, American Apparel, The Coffee Bean, Fat Sal's, Mellow Mushroom, Kismet Cafe, Frank's, Pizzeria Vitri, Big Bite, Pita Pit, Noodles and Company, Rise, and many, many more. When we think back on our time at UT, we won't just reminisce about the businesses that once thrived on Quad. We will recall the 40 acres we walked to class, uphill both ways during a tornado warning, without a scooter to bail us out when we woke up late, We were forced to wait at the crosswalk to get from Belo to the CMA, but now future students can avoid that painful 2-minute walk, instead taking a bridge that whisks them across the street and over the traffic. We can tell stories of the water crisis that revealed every Austinite's true character in the aisles of H-E-B and rendered our beloved reusable water bottles useless. In the midst of a gas shortage, we came together to form a long line of cars at the one working gas pump in the city. And when we came here, Texas was ranked just the 17th best public university in the US. Now, according to the FBI, it's a highly selective university, ranking among Stanford, USC, Yale, and Georgetown. In all seriousness, there's been a lot of important change on our campus over the last 4 years. A group of students, faculty, and alumni successfully lobbied for the relocation of 3 Confederate monuments, removing prominent symbols of hatred from the main mall that we walk every day. In the wake of incomprehensible tragedies, we came together, 50,000 students strong, to take care of each other in times of grief. We responded by enhancing our emergency response systems and bolstering our campus safety with rideshare programs that get people home safe at any hour. More students now have access to the voting booth thanks to our new centrally located polling place established just before the midterms and just in time for 2020. And lastly, within Moody, we recognize that only 6% of students are able to experience a semester studying abroad. To make this opportunity more accessible to future Moody students, our senior class gift contributes to an endowment that will help cover the costs of studying abroad. So, this university has changed a lot, and we have done a lot to change it. So when we leave today, I want us to feel a sense of pride. We did it. We survived 4 years here when most businesses couldn't even make it 9 months. And above all, always remember, what starts here changes the drag.
How about another big hand for Bailey? I think next year I might have Bailey write my speech for me. Now we get the honor to present the degree candidates for the Bachelors of Science in Communication Studies.
Eileen No. Elijah Isis Long. Nafisa Buyan. Carly Alyssa Vandengrief. Andres Luis Almaderes with high honors. Nico Bianchi. Emily Rose Boyshow, with high honors. Glenn Patrick Bozant, Jr. Eilish Corinne Brenner. Barbara Ann Cantu. Kinran Chen. Samuel Cervantes, also receiving a BA in Government. Morgan Reed Christensen, with high honors, also receiving a BA in Sociology. Max Noah Hart. Austin Ray De La Rosa. Jose Luis Velasquez, Jr. Henry Abraham Shotland. Madeline Kate Golston. Tessa Lane Lorenzen, with honors. Nicholas Cameron Cooper. Marissa Cowley. Andrew Corey. Jorge Luis Correa. Meredith K. Thomas. Amelia Michelle Folger. Irie Crenshaw. Danielle DeCoctis. Isaiah Dios Castillo. Sydney Elaine Drury, also receiving a BA in Government. Alexa Nicole DiVorelli. Vadaihi Desi. Sarah Danielle Uberthart, with honors, Senior Fellows. Natalie Engel, BS in Social Work. Gabriela Estrada. Vanessa Ferretis. Hannah Elizabeth Fallingan. Abraham Samuel Flores, also receiving a BA in Government. Sarah Elizabeth Ford. Morgan Nicole Foster. Regan Scott Francis. Christopher Ryan Farron. Hannah Rose Friend. Lane Daniel Fritz. Leslie Fuentes. Samantha Elizabeth Gamboa, with honors. Alejandra Garcia. Juliana Garcia Giraldo. Victoria Elena Garza. Janan Giddens, with highest honors. Cale King Gilmore. Patrick Paul Gleam. Carolina Edith Gomez. Dewey Jude Gonsolin III. Kendall Don Gratzty, with honors, also receiving a BA in Government. Marjorie Dizelle Guadaraman. Essence Vanessa Goodry. Megan Hahn, also receiving a BA in Human Dimensions of Organization. Fatima Jafar Hassan. Rihanna Haradin, with honors. Eileen Kosin Menezes, with high honors. Tinian Holt, Senior Fellows, also receiving a BA in Government. Jacqueline Rivas Homosia. Ashley Gay Hernandez. Taylor Renee Sanchez. Anna Rose Isbell, with highest honors. Natalie Naro. Cindy Wynn. Alexis Nicole Kulik. Sarah Isabella Herzer, with high honors. Addison Brooke Hollinsed. William Cade Hill. Mary Murphy Party. Caleb Holyfield. James Grayson Isaac Jackson. Alexis Maria Gonzalez. Sarah Elizabeth Johansson. Madeline Grace Johnson. Dominique Tierres Jones. Holly Catherine Klein. Avia Nicole Kraft with highest honors. Clarissa Lizette Lara. Kiera Latre Lewis. Maxime Wickman Lozmak. Megan Jean McKinsick. Caroline Elizabeth Marlowe. Caroline Mays McCall. Olivia Ann McClay with honors. Laura Elizabeth McCunchin. Emily Elizabeth Muscat. Michaela Kazan Mutster. Arjun Nair. Julia Garcia O'Hanlon, also receiving a BA in Humanities. Jacob Ryan O'Shea, also receiving a BA in Government. Wesley Faye Offerturing. Bailey Michelle Oldham. Griffin Reed Olsky, with honors. Alondra Ortiz. Esmeralda Montez. Sophia Medina. Chelsea Nicole Perry, with honors, also receiving a BS in Kinesiology. Reagan Shanice Preston. Carissa Ramirez. Catherine Taylor Parrish. Catherine Maria Raska. Brandon Bo Slovacek. Allison Page Macy, with honors. Molly Richardson, with honors. Dubria Khan, with honors. Angela Maria Reyes. Lindsay Rothring. Abigail Elsie Riley. Caitlin Ripkowski, with high honors. Cole Henry Ricketts. Rachel Wynn Weisenthal. Morgan Chapman. Roberto Ricardo Rubinio. Esther Shim. Joshua Mooney Rowland. Michael David Puzal. Morgan Kinsley Myers. Catherine Reese Bickham. Sydney Elizabeth Smith. Anna Carolina Ballard. Emma Jean Rook. Allison Tuttle, with high honors. Catherine Adams Lane. Bart Sharma. Carolyn Sherman, with highest honors. Kirsten Page Rathy. Mackenzie Kayla Smith. Marissa Elder, with high honors. Also receiving a BA in African and African Diaspora Studies. Desmond Sims. Stephen David Santoya, Senior Fellows. Michael Walton Wakefield. Tegan Sines. Sarah Page Schneider. Jane Hayen Kim. Lauren Nicole Wallace. Natalie Claire Manning. Morgan Lee Vega. Kendall Ray Stevens. Hannah Alexis McMorris. Matthew Bennett Shapiro. Lydia Anna Medhani, with high honors. Amanda Maria Sass, with high honors. Kelly Michelle Ross. Kendall Frushore, with high honors. Kristen Karen Pena, with high honors. Lindsay Rose Singh, with honors. Matthew Chandler Purvis. Omar Getfu. Matthew Solomon Singer. Megan Blair Miller, with high honors. Elena Habsha Sinkin, with honors. Hannah Alyssa Bloomfeld. JC Danielas Bergdorf. Natalie Christine Matthews. Margaret Katie Chappell. Layla Ruth Patterson. James Jackson Hayden, with honors. Angela Lynn Tenney. Arnoldo Torres. Quinn Nicole Humphrey. Jordan Renee Wellborn. Corey Reef Wheeler. Ariana Viata. Kimberly Grace Waters. Molly Ann Horowitz. Alexandria Carter, also receiving a BS in advertising. Elizabeth Schwarzenberg. Gabriella Elizabeth Harrington. Ulana Kaufman, with honors. Julia Appelfeld. Melissa Perry Waldman. Isabel Page Miller, with high honors. Allison Koss. Molly Franklin. Nicole Emma Shiner. Rachel Lauren Greenspan. Seth Sagerser, also receiving a BA in economics. Kayla J. Tizano. Dean Bernhardt. This completes the list of Bachelor of Science candidates from the Department of Communication Studies.
Congratulations. We will now present the degree candidates for the Bachelors of Science in Public Relations from the Stan Richards School of Advertising and Public Relations. How's everybody doing so far? You guys doing well so far? Can I hear you? Good. Didn't want to interrupt the band, sorry.
Langston Dillard. Macy Catherine Ford. Molly Beatrice Currington. Megan McFerrin. Jessica Lynn Borman, with high honors. Melanie Brooke Cirillo, with honors. Rachel Ann Moore. Jenny Frances Cookin. Alejandra De La Cruz. Patricio Cantu. Beatrice Castillo. Rodrigo Cutini. Andres Ricardo Ferreira. Elizabeth Claire Bender. Peyton Michelle Dean, with honors. Rachel Caroline Faust. Evelyn Davidson, with high honors. Genoa Filippetto. Elisa Renee Gonzalez. Eliana Newkirk Gonzalez. Grayson Gabrielle Green. Riley Nicole King, with high honors. Kayla Canavan. Paige Lauren Patterson. Christina Marisa Van Hessen. Beatrice Caldron. Vivian Paula Mathieu. Maria Jose Andrade. Krista Marshall with honors. Blair Fiedler. McKenna Christ. Megan Taylor Riddle with highest honors, also receiving a BA in psychology. Emily Catherine Young with honors. Hannah Dragomer. Haley Ann Haggard with honors, also receiving a BS in communication studies. Caitlin Irene Gullius. Allison Lee Hopkins with highest honors. Allison Denise Kuntz. Ashlyn Sophia McDermott. Carissa Guerra. Emily Gittin. Kylie Paige Morgan. Taylor Everett Gonzalez. Kyla Carissa Hernandez. Giovanni Angelio Gutierrez. Jokabed Fecado. Jokabed Ficado. Shylon Manning. Patrick Allen Doran. An Van Ho. Gino Kim. Derek Coe. Leornan Martins. Toli Aino Kopinen, Senior Fellows, with honors. Madison Claire Lemert. Sarah Elaine Corville. Alina Almeida. Corin John Wakefield. Elias Zachary Huerta. Jordan Sloan Colker. Charmine Somani. Alexa Alexandru. Sarah Lee Ree. Leland Harris Yonkers. Devin Cruz. Peyton Elizabeth Webb with high honors. Rose Angel Peterman with high honors. Kristen Grace Lowe. Amanda McFarlane with honors. Jacqueline Maneri with high honors. Julia Ann Marks. Andrea Nicole Menez. Emily Ann Oxford. Jose Moreno. Grant Wisted Morris. Michaela Noel Newman with high honors. Amber Leon Wynn. Victoria Lee Nickerson with honors. Leslie Michelle Ortega. Shannon Nicole Switzer with high honors. Krishna Atul Patel. Yaharia Shanice Perkins. Chris V. Fan with honors. Andrew Austin Pierce. Carter Pittman. Julie Poe Tricus. Lauren Elizabeth McBride with high honors. Brendan Chance Reed. Joshua Joseph Koshi. Avery Brianne Robinson. Carolyn Catherine Bolino. Ulana Henry. Jimena Romero. Regina Sampaio. Kate Dixon Sanchez. Monica Cadiro. Gabriel Eduardo Sierra. Bailey Nicole Vaughn. Greta Renee Silvertooth. Myra Tompkins. Chelsea Adana Uzuku. Mia Shaw. Amanda Carey Scully. Gabrielle Tina Sun. Janella Alexa Sosa, with honors. Haley Ava Lynn South. Wyatt Colin Tackle. Elise Marie Young. Sarah Clark Ballard, with highest honors. Alessa Nicole Zucker. Catherine Ann Sutherland. Fernanda Armendariz. Haley Morgan Williams. Kellyanne Dang, with high honors. Nancy Mahmoud Zidane. Nu Vong. Linda Jane Walton, also receiving a BA in Human Dimensions of Organization. Kiri Page Harper. Deshu Mon Warren, also receiving a Bachelor of Social Work. Christopher Herman Jackson. Stacy Lee Collins, with honors. Sarah Catherine Warnke. Lauren Anita Guzman, also receiving a Bachelor of Arts in Music and Voice Performance. Natalie Marie Scott. Megan Lauren Farrell. Faith Tabak. Lauren Emily Hogan. Serena Kuntz, with honors. Samantha Lynn Trottier. Bryce Shea Verplank. Zachary Anthony Torres. Devin Marie Yagziri. Tiffany Carol Hammond Rogina, with honors. Rikarshi Rashay Mobley. Kirsten Vaughn. Jixiao Zhang, also receiving a BA in Economics. Samuel Chen. Rachel Joy Insek. Dean Bernhardt, this completes the list of Bachelor of Science candidates from Public Relations.
Congratulations, graduates. It's now my great honor and privilege to introduce our keynote speaker for today's graduation ceremony, the incredibly talented Moody College graduate, Noelle Wells. Woo! In the years since she graduated, Noelle has charted an amazing path of creative achievement in acting and writing and directing, comedy and music. In becoming a TV star, South by Southwest award winner, and self-produced musician, Noelle has relied on the characteristics that prevail against the human condition to define her journey: compassion, creativity, and curiosity. Born in San Antonio and raised in Victoria, Texas, she poured her energy into school and grew interested in helping people to not feel lost or feel disconnected from their community. As a film student at UT, Noelle bought her own cameras, wrote her own projects, and participated in Austin's live comedy scene. And she was called toward work that projects light through laughter. Upon graduation, she took a leap of faith and moved to Los Angeles. and at the time, some in her family were worried about the move, but Noelle was confident. She had gained valuable creative experience by writing and performing her own sketches and filming her own films while in school, so she told her family, hey, don't worry. No matter what, I'm going to make something. And she certainly has made something, a serious impact, through interesting and award-winning roles and projects, including many of her own making, that have appeared on the big screen, the medium-sized screen, and on the small screens too. And if that isn't enough for this multi-dimensional talent, Noelle has just completed her debut album, set to come out later this year, with 2 super cool singles released so far called Sunrise and Stars. So check them out on your favorite streaming service. Please join me in welcoming back to UT and to Moody College our commencement keynote speaker, Noelle Wells.
Wow, thank you, Dean Bernhardt, for that plug. That's awesome. Well, you guys, it is so exciting to be here. It's so lovely being back in Austin. And it's been really cool looking at all of you guys. You guys are so cute. And also, all of your family is here. I think it's really incredible that your family is supporting you, and I think we should give them a round of applause. You're graduating college. Now, a round of applause. How many of you guys are excited to start your careers? Woo! Right? Yes. Now show me by round of applause who's ready to start paying back their student loan debt. What? What's wrong? You guys don't want to pay back your student loan debt? Well, turns out, actually you don't. Because Dean Bernhardt whispered in my ear as I came up here and said that he's going to pay it for you. Isn't that right? Yeah. You don't have $20 million? No. All right. Well, hit him up later. So for those of you who do not know me, could you just please pull out your phones and go to Instagram and follow me at Noelle Wells? I could use the followers because apparently I'm not famous enough yet. No, my name is Noelle Wells, and I am a former UT student. I graduated in 2010 with an RTF degree and a Plan 2 honors degree, so I was one of those annoying kids. Back then, it was not the Moody College of Communication, and to be honest, a lot of things were very different. Barack Obama had just been elected president. Parents were not on Facebook. Everyone in America loved each other, and everyone's favorite food was gluten. Yeah, a lot of things have changed. While in RTF, I took classes in animation, editing, directing. I wrote my own videos. I took up photography, and I also worked for a couple years in the computer lab in the CMA building. That communications lab is an incredible resource. If you didn't make use of it, you really messed up. After graduation, I worked all summer doing motion graphics and saved up enough money to move to Los Angeles. And here I stand 9 years later as a multi-millionaire Oscar-winning actress. Thank you. That's not true. But what is true is that I started doing sketch and improv, and I wrote videos and put them on YouTube, and I worked as an editor, and 3 years after moving to LA, I was cast on a little television show called Saturday Night Live. That's true. But I was only on that for 1 season, but that's totally okay because a few months later, I was cast on a little Golden Globe Emmy Award-winning show starring Aziz Ansari called Master of None. And I was only on that for 1 season, but that's okay because then I wrote and starred and directed a little indie film I shot here in Austin that's now on Netflix that won the Audience Award at South by Southwest called Mr. Roosevelt. And that's the only film that I've made. I tend to only do things once, but I will do them again, I promise. Like many of you, once I give this speech and walk out that door, I technically don't really have a job. And that feels very scary, but doing what I do, I have gotten used to being afraid. And I will be the first to tell you it's okay to be afraid. Now, I know I keep making you participate in my speech. It makes me feel better. But by show of hands, how many of you are kind of afraid about what lies ahead of you right now? Afraid of the unknown? Is it people afraid? Thank you. Thank you. That was really brave of you guys, the ones who raised your hands. And for those who did not raise your hands, I'm going to assume you were just too afraid to do it. Or you have trust funds. And if so, congratulations. But I get it. We are in very scary times. The world is a very strange place. Politics are a nightmare, the economy's screwed up, our institutions and structures are breaking down, and everyone seems to be in a fight. Men versus women, Republicans versus Democrats, Avengers versus the Justice League. I mean, if you are not scared, you might be a sociopath, which, by the way, do very well in the entertainment industry. But even though the world is a scary place and you may be unsure of what to do next, I want to tell you what I know is true. No matter what you have right now, and no matter what you've been through, and no matter how uncertain you are about your future, not only are you incredibly lucky to be here, you can make anything you want happen to come true in your life from right where you are. And you might be thinking to yourself, shut your mouth, you skinny white actress, and I get it. I am skinny, but hear me out. I was not born set up to be much of anything. I was born to a teenage mom. Our first house that we bought was a trailer in the hill country, and we were, for a good portion of my life, pretty poor. Some of you might have started eating 49-cent ramen, ironically, when you came to college. I started eating it before I could read. And like many of you, I was the first of my family to graduate from college, which it was so amazing to see so many people here graduating from the first time in college. But it wasn't always so much of a struggle because my mom was super resourceful and never let her circumstances stand in her way. And it was because of this that I had my first big epiphany in life. When my mom, not wanting to spend money on an expensive outfit for my confirmation, invested in a sewing machine and sewed herself a dress instead. First of all, I thought that was super cool. Because at the time, I thought that things just existed. And if something needed to be made, robots made them. When she made that dress, it was the first time I realized, oh, whoa, people make clothes. And I know that might sound obvious to you, but I had never thought about it. And it made me realize, well, if people can make clothes, that means if I wanted to, I could make clothes. So I taught myself how to sew, and I started making my own clothes. And that was the beginning of a whole new thought process for me, which was, what else do I have the capacity to make? I thought, well, I could make jewelry, I could make furniture, I could make shoes, I could make a breakfast taco business where I make breakfast tacos and take them to school and sell them for $2 a piece and make a profit of $1 on each taco. All of these things I have tried at some time or another. And as I got older, I applied that further. I can take my taco profits and buy a computer and make videos, and I can make music, and I can make movies, and on and on and on. And so if you keep thinking about it, people make everything that you see. People make buildings, people make cars, people make spaceships, and if you want to get abstract, people make babies, and they make families, and they make communities and universities, and people make love, and people make hate. People make the entire world. So many people think that things just exist. But nothing in this world exists unless someone is making it. Nothing does. And it's via that principle that I have gotten as far as I have in my life, that no matter what, if I have an idea, I can make it happen. And I know for a fact that everyone here is born with the exact same power to make your own reality come true. And in fact, you have already used this power of creation. You're using it every single day. And how do I know this? Well, you're graduating college. Some of you guys made some really cool hats. You followed your power in pursuit of completing an education. You focused, you took classes, you studied, you showed up. You might have gotten very drunk along the way, but you did it. You made it, you're here. You've already made so much happen in your life. And you might be thinking, okay, yes, I know, I've made a few things happen. Sure, I have a diploma, but what about the real world? I can't just make a job. Yeah, you can. Or you might think, I can't make counterfeit money to pay my bills. I don't know, you might be able to try. But what happens when things get in the way of what you want to make, or you keep trying to make things and you suck, or you keep failing? What then? What then, you skinny white actress? All right. Part of making your reality come true is getting really clear about who you are and getting very used to failing very hard. I really wanted to be on SNL. And I really wanted to make characters and be funny and do political comedy. And deep down, I also really just wanted to make my mom laugh so that her life would be a little easier. And after probably hundreds of auditions, I made that dream come true. Not for SNL, but just hundreds of auditions and lots of videos. I made it come true. I don't exactly know how, but it was the craziest thing I have ever made happen in my life. But as the story goes, I wasn't brought back for a second season. And when I found out, it felt like the most humiliating thing that ever happened to me. And people were pretty mean about it. And I had people that would say, oh, so what are you gonna do now? And I would just tell people, oh, you know what? I'm just not gonna do anything anymore. But obviously that wasn't true. I knew I had the capacity to make something else happen. And I didn't know what, but I knew feeling bad about myself was not good. So first, I made the best decision of my life, and I got off of Twitter for 3 months. Everybody should just be getting off of Twitter, okay? Second, I decided that it didn't matter that I wasn't on the show. Sure, it was the place every comedy person wanted to be, but I knew what really mattered was what I wanted to be, why I wanted to be there in the first place. And so I asked myself, if the show didn't exist, what would someone like me be doing instead? And further, if I were on a desert island, all by myself, with no pressure to be anything, with no demands being put on me and no one to impress, what would I really be doing with my life? And the answer was really clear. If I was on a desert island all by myself, I would be talking to myself, making jokes and singing and dancing. And eventually I would be writing scripts and then would be collecting coconuts and painting faces on them and lining them up to make an audience so people could watch me perform. And then I would be fantasizing about making costumes and wishing I had a budget for a crane and a camera to get a shot that would really make this scene work. And more importantly, I saw myself making people feel better about being stuck on this miserable, stupid island. So my advice to you would be, if you're ever at a loss about what to do next, ask yourself, well, what would you do on an island all by yourself in this moment? What would you make? You might be on this island and think, you know what? I just spent 4 years of my life studying to be the next Steven Spielberg, but actually, I freaking hate directing, and I would much rather just explore this place. I'd rather map it out, so when people come to this island, I can show them all the cool spots. Or you might think, I want to see what there is to eat on this island, or even invent cool food. Or you might think, I want to heal the animals, or count all the trees, build things. I mean, if you're super honest with yourself, you might want to stare at the stars, just chill out and have a good time. And all of these things are super important in the ecosystem of life. We need people to be doing the things that make them happy, and not because someone else said that they should do it to be successful, but because deep down, this is what they're meant to do. What you truly want to make is where your power lies, and ultimately is what you're destined to do. What makes you happy and what brings you joy moment by moment is more important than any job or any amount of money, though money obviously helps. And getting aligned with your joy will be the thing that will take you through the darkest of times and carry you to the best of times. I think that your generation has the coolest opportunity to do things completely different. You see how all the bullshit has failed, right? Let all the old people destroy each other fighting. You get to invent a totally new world based on your personal truths and values. And instead of thinking, okay, who can make that happen for me, or what is the career that will do it, just start following the little nudges inside of you about what you want to make next. And the more you say yes to those things, the sooner you can create the world you want to see. All right, well, I'm going to close out with some advice that I've learned over the years. The first one's very important, and I need you guys really to listen to me here. This is true. Women are psychic. Men, you are not psychic. Unless you are Bran the Broken, you will never understand what it's like to be a woman. Don't be afraid of being wrong. The world we're in right now sucks because no one has the space to be wrong. I love being wrong. Case in point, I used to think the motorized scooters that litter our cities were a menace. I thought anyone who rode them were awful and should be embarrassed of themselves. But last week, there was one outside of my apartment, and I needed to get to the movies, so I got on it, and I am not afraid to admit that riding that scooter was the most fun I have ever had in my adult life, and I looked so stupid, and I loved being wrong, and I didn't care. Which leads me to my next point, which is don't be afraid to make yourself look stupid. When you're okay with looking stupid, no one ever has power over you, ever. People often say, do things that scare you, and I think that that is good advice, but I like to say, do things that scare other people. That way you're unpredictable, and the annoying people will leave you alone, and the people that are rich and bored will think you're interesting and want in. Everyone, if you don't let other people be themselves, you can't be yourself. Once you accept other people for who they are, even people you disagree with, and let them live their lives however they want, you give yourself permission to do the same. So, you do you, boo. Don't wait to have fun. My first week at SNL was one of the best weeks of my entire life. I did such a great job. I got 2 sketches on the air, and I knocked it out of the park. But I had heard the show was going to get hard, so I decided I couldn't let myself celebrate and that it would be inappropriate for me to have fun. And then it got so bad. And I couldn't help but think, man, I should have just let myself have fun while I had the chance. And I really hope you do the same. Okay, this one's really big. If you find someone who cuts your hair well, never take them for granted. These people are gods amongst men, and they are your source of power and self-esteem, and do not forget it. Commit to doing small acts of random kindness. For me, personally, I made a promise to myself about a year ago that no matter where I was, or whose house I was in, or what restaurant I was in, if I am in the bathroom and I use the last bit of toilet paper on the roll, I will replace it with a fresh roll. I may not be able to stop gun violence, but I'm never leaving another lady hanging. You guys, the world is filled with so much bullshit, and you might not be able to stop it, but you can stop bullshitting yourself. So one of my main pieces of advice is if you don't know something, instead of pretending like you do, just say, you know what, I don't know. First of all, you might find out that other people don't know too, and you all might then get a chance to learn something new. And men, women are not your moms. Men are not your dads. Men and women, we all want the same thing, which is to be loved. In fact, everyone on this planet does everything because they want to be loved, even the worst of us, I promise. And finally, it is never too late to say you're sorry. It's never too late to start again. And it's never too late to get off your phone. May we all be kinder and gentler to ourselves and each other, and may we embrace the uncertainty, align with our truths, and choose to make something we want to see in the world. I'm going to close this speech with a piece of a poem that was sent to me by my friend Meg while I was writing. It's called Starlings in Winter by Mary Oliver. Ah, world, what lessons you prepare for us. Even in the leafless winter, even in the ashy city, I'm thinking now of grief and of getting past it. I feel my boots trying to leave the ground. I feel my heart pumping hard. I want to think again of dangerous. I want to think again of dangerous and noble things. I want to be light and frolicsome, and I want to be improbable, beautiful, and afraid of nothing, as though I had wings. Not to sound too cheesy, guys, but you just got your wings, and it's time for you to fly. Congratulations. Good luck. Thank you for letting me share in this experience with you guys today. And now make some noise for yourselves. All right, thank you.
She's got moves, too. How about a big hand for Noelle Wells? It's now our opportunity to present the degree candidates for the Bachelors of Science in Communication Sciences and Disorders. So please approach the stage.
Samad Ali. Jamie Benzie Purrington. Patricia Benray with highest honors. Rachel Ben Ray with honors. Chesney Ray Carter. Natalie Lauren Clark. Lainey Elizabeth Cohn. Rachel Alexandria Dominguez. Jillian Nicole Ederly. Daniela Monica Espinosa. Karina Celeste Esquivel. James Fang. Jennifer Caitlin Ferguson with highest honors. Maria Fernanda Fernandez. Gabriel Rene Fragoso with highest honors. Serena Alicia Garcia. Erin Garza. Amanda May Janang with honors, also receiving a BS in Applied Learning and Development. Ashley Nicole Gonzalez with honors. Amanda May Ghosh with highest honors. Marina Ashfar Habushi. Carolyn Handley with honors. Gabriela Heredia. Rachel K. Harris with honors. Catherine Wynn with high honors. Emma Victoria Fogel. Mary Elizabeth Henson with honors. Connor Jansen, Senior Fellows with honors. Madison Nicole Lee with high honors. Jennifer Elizabeth King. Maria Michelle Hollub with honors. Avery Jo Morgan. Catherine Lernan. Macy Lauren Lawson with highest honors. Carolyn Nobel Lacron. San Wook Lee with highest honors. Marjorie Gonzalez with honors. Carmen Mata. Rachel McCullough with high honors. Denise Menza. Brianna Moulton. McKinnon Anderson Nard with highest honors. Alexandra Beagle with high honors. Brooke Elizabeth England with high honors. Emily Tess Johnson with honors. Catherine Ann Cook with honors. Sarah Case Giamalva. Sophie Jillian King with honors. Sarah Brooke Fisk. Nicole Rachel Parson with high honors, also receiving a BA in linguistics. Lily Wynn. Jose Nunez. Madeline Noel Patzner with high honors. Karina Pineda. Tiffany Pooh. Kayla Rodriguez. Jackie Jo Richardson with honors. Chloe Roller. Nicole Catherine Prince with highest honors, also receiving a BA in linguistics. Alyssa Andrea Romero. Gabriela Michelle Ruprecht. Christina Valiente Salazar. Ulina Bailey Scarlett with high honors. Mackenzie Scapara with honors. Rayleigh Steele Shawell with honors. Angela Brooke Sierra, also receiving a BA in Iberian and Latin American languages and cultures. Rebecca Alexandra Serna. Oriana Sofia Montiel Montez with honors. Anan Sobrino. Taylor Sons. Evan Steven Stack with honors. Madison Janan Stacy with honors. Ryan Tom Stanley with honors. Kayleen Stevens. Vanessa Stewart. Cameron Elizabeth Stroh, with high honors. Jill Sullivan, with honors. Emily Yokwin-Sun, with honors. Janelle Tejada. Hannah Rose Torok, with high honors. Deanna Tran, with honors. Courtney Paige Van Zant. Cassandra Karina Villarreal, with honors. Catherine Shu, with honors. Ling Zhang, with highest honors. Dean Bernhardt, this completes the list of Bachelor of Science candidates from Communication Sciences and Disorders.
Congratulations. And now last, but certainly not least, we will recognize the degree candidates for the Bachelors of Science in Advertising from the Stan Richards School of Advertising and Public Relations.
Hector Ignacio de Leon. Bailey Sean Sward. Gilbert Aguera III. Carla Isabel Aracan. Kelsey Michelle Alavedo. Harrison Cooper Anderson. Andy Bradford. Ann Shepard Doyle. Samantha Elsa Jones. Matthew Johnson. Marshall Beal Neve. Laura Ann Hughes. Catherine Margaret Thompson. Merrick Elizabeth White. Kristen Faith Graham. Kathleen Grace Holland. Evan Andrew Welsh. Peyton Bertram. Claire Crady. Deanna De Leon Hunter. Alexa Marie Pukowski. Michelle Ela. Brooke Alyssa Rappaport. Daniel Parkin Cortez. Matthew Gregory Ronk. Lynn Hamilton Butler Jr. Michael Paul Butzer. Jackson Ira Herbert. Spencer Lewis Miller. Daniel Blake Robinson. Taylor Lee Wood. Kaylin Marie Baldema. Mallory Charlie Beck, with honors. Nina McDermott. Grace Ann Collins, with honors. Sonam Medirata. Colette Michelle Stark, with high honors. Natalie Irene Berry, Senior Fellows, with high honors. Elizabeth Genevieve Bronha, with high honors. Emily Page Bolton. Lara Walker Vasilev, also receiving a BA in Plan 2 honors. Casey Bozak. Zahra Kasher. Olivia Grace Borg, with high honors. Thomas Gabriel Cauldron. Adrian Wendenfeld. Colton West. Priscilla Ashley Chandra. Mitzi Maria Carrera. Gabriela Ellis Fultz, with honors. Casey Ann Bierbauer. Linda Sofia Diaz. Luisana Guevara. Jason Thompson Darling. Sarah Nasser, with honors. Samantha Gail Neer, with honors. Shannon Patricia Dare. Alejandro Caleb Castillon. Elizabeth Toma. Lindsay Rose Weisier. Casey Taylor Lennick. Jordan Koff. Alexander Joseph Barnes. Jason Leonard Mandel. Bailey Ethier, with high honors, also receiving a Bachelor of Journalism. Jared Adam Lindy. Scott Rubinger, Senior Fellows. Mally Feldman. Benjamin David Kalpivisky, with honors. Hannah Marie Ohm, with high honors. Brogan Nielsen. Taylor Lauren Gray, with highest honors. Caitlin Rebecca Setos, with high honors. Olivia Lynn Tanner. Tori Karam. Ryan Christopher Turnuri, also receiving a BA in economics. Gabriella Nicole Chenchinsky. Claire Marie Starling. Catherine Alton Romirger. Julia Olson. Erica Maria Casales, also receiving a BA in studio art. Ernest Wayne Chan, with high honors, Senior Fellows, also receiving a BA in psychology. Ashley Chandler Cardwell. Regina Galen Medina, with honors. Sarah Marie Ransom, with high honors. Madeline Jane Hudis. Jessica Cameron Austin. Carolyn Rebecca Boswell. Ivana Marisa Flores. Catherine Susan Day. Michaela Maria Newhouse. Charlotte Whalen, Senior Fellows, with high honors. Brandon Christopher Bragg. Coleman Edward Deuce. Vincent Joseph DiFiore. Wyatt Hurd Coder. Zachary Mason Evans. Jacqueline Berger. Benjamin Edward Blumrick. Betty Bentley Frossard. Jessica Evans. Sohaila Escher. Adria Gundarara. Brooke Lee Hansen. George Flores. Lealina Garcia. Sydney Briano Cross. Chelsea Cole. Lyndall Franklin. Travis Michael Riff. Jesway Rael Betts the Jr. Asa Joseph Crow. Christy Hahn. Apasanan Hawk. Sierra Bell Harris. Holly Nicole Edmondson. Abigail Faith Hogg. Jared Richard Husky. Geraldine Gutierrez. Jessica Sway. Victoria Teresa Ho. Dajin Kim. Christina Hong Maitran. Amanda Cristina Hernandez. Jorge Eduardo Hernandez. Kaylin Paige Hollis, with honors. Charlotte Elizabeth Lichtenheld. Catherine McDougall, with high honors. Marielle Meyer. Claudia Pamela Leal. Grace Lamb. Daniel Xuang Jun Kim. Josh Nam. Carly Beth Jones. Krista Maria Jordan, with highest honors. Sierra Renee King. Dawn Nguyen. Karen Christina Lee. Sabrina Diane Loud, also receiving a BA in Art History. Rena Lan Lee. Brittany Tran Lee. Ruth Kwan. Urub Kawaja, with honors. Amelia Ero McKay. Mary Julianne Ann McDonald, with honors, also receiving a BA in Psychology. Daria Kvetskiva. Joanne Ching Yan Lee. Hannah Nicole Kay. Faith Ashley Michelle Daniels, with honors. Kelsey Morgan Lewis. Samantha Mao. Amanda Macy, with honors. Chelsea Brooke McManus. Audrey Lynn McKay, Senior Fellows. Sydney Danielle McNabb, with honors. Jessica Maria Mendez. Paulina Valeria Montes, with honors. Callie Alyssa Meredith, with highest honors. Patrick McCarthy. Michael Hudson Miller. Brandon Harley Pies. Claire Frances White. Garrett John Mireles. Emily Erin Ward. Nicholas Miguet, with honors. Brandy Nicole Vera. Stephanie Wen Veng. Eob Irgo. Ropa Nagarajan, also receiving a BA in Plan 2 Honors, Senior Fellow. Dana Havlin, with honors. Ruth Alyssa Nathan, with highest honors. Jonathan Kyle Monk, Senior Fellows, also receiving a BS in Radio, Television, Film. Colton Morris. Rebecca Mullins. Zili Pirg. Josette Uchonu. Michelle Angelique Peplinsky. Matthew Ishmael Perez. Shannon Plock. Madison Nicole Priest. Alexandria Prokel. Tiffany Pritchett. Haromi Rangal Nisharmura, with high honors. Lorena Reyes, with honors. Robin Ye. Miranda Riviera. Micah Beatrice Rodriguez, with highest honors, also receiving a BBA in marketing. Christopher Douglas Salvatore. Lauren Adrian Schuber. Rogelio Servin Espinita. Joseph Jesus Gomez. Amanda Bruckman Silva. Christian Fernando Mariquin. Alyssa Michelle Ramsey. Devin Harris Quintana. Brian Richard Hiddle. Andrea Verhes. Puya Hunchal. Alyssa Nicole Simmons. Brianna Lane Zuniga. Camilla Elaine Sudukum. Erica Suarez. Gabriela Kashinar Suhuratano. Jenny Tui Jam Fong. Fabinia Pena. Autumn Ann Smith, also receiving a BS in Communication Studies. Lorena Ibigaron Sutherland. Unisha Elian Fortberry. Lexi Lassiter. Naira Felon Teeler. Mike Tejada. Viane Torres. Lauren Naquintron. Jose Rodolfo Rodriguez. Mariano Regalarado. Juan Carlos Perez Berrero. Jose Patricia Ramos. Catalina Weiss. Luisa Valeria Fernandez. Maria del Carmen Vasquez. John Douglas Parker. Anthony Craig Payne with honors. Liam Devlin Walsh. Alejandro Cabos Said. Valeria Elizabeth Wynn. Rachna Unkut. Bonnie Trigg. Rita Murad. Haley Wheeler with honors. Sarah Hallmark. Chase Henderson. Jacob Andrew Sandoval. Addison Michael Stahl with honors, also receiving a BA in economics. Jessica Joe. Jonathan Garza. Christina Vo. Kara Williams with high honors, also receiving a BBA in accounting. Anna Hong Yong. Trina Tai Win. Madeline Munford, also receiving a BA in French. Lizzie Dragon with high honors. Aaron Michael Owens Crane. Alexis Olivia Zambrano with honors. John Frederick Stevens. Jason Min Sung Kim. Jessica Gion. Dean Bernhardt, this completes the list of Bachelor of Science candidates from advertising.
Congratulations, class of 2019. Let's take a moment to give special thanks to the talented Rebecca McEnroy from KUT 90.5 FM, who assisted us today with the recognition by reading all of the names. It's a very hard job. We know she doesn't get it perfect, but she does an amazing job. Thank you so much, Rebecca. Let's give her a hand. Before we conclude today's ceremony, I've been asked to share some important announcements regarding tomorrow's university-wide graduation ceremony and the accompanying events for that. So number one, the Texas Exes are hosting the Great Texas Exit from 3 to 7 p.m. tomorrow at the Eder Harbin Alumni Center. Graduates and their guests are invited to stop by before the main mall graduation event for a casual Texas-sized celebration. There will be food trailers, live band, photo opportunities, commemorative giveaways, and adult beverages. So please attend if you can, and please join the Texas Exes. Second, degree candidates participating in the grand procession at university-wide ceremony tomorrow evening will be required to present a ticket as they begin the procession. If you don't have a ticket already, free procession tickets are available from the Irwin Center and the Texas Performing Arts box office through 2 p.m. tomorrow. So make sure you have a ticket. Third, public seating at the tower for the university-wide ceremony tomorrow will open at 5 p.m. Admission is on a first-come, first-served basis, and please note that seating is limited and demand for outdoor seating may exceed capacity. So once general seating becomes full, guests will be directed to available indoor and alternative viewing locations. Fourth, and there's only four, in an effort to maintain a safe environment for all, we strongly encourage all guests not to bring bags to the university-wide ceremony unless they are absolutely necessary. All bags will be checked before guests are allowed to enter, and all bags must be smaller than 12 inches in any dimension. Visitors bringing prohibited larger bags will not be allowed to enter. So please consult the commencement website for additional information related to safety procedures. And finally, and this part's very important, so please pay very close attention, students. During tomorrow's ceremony, each of the deans are invited to come up and share a few words to present our graduates. So I will share a few remarks to the assembled crowd about how awesome Moody College is and how great our graduates are. And I will end my remarks with a bit of audience participation with all of you. So I'm going to prompt you now what the line is. So I will conclude my remarks by saying, that is the reason why we are so proud to be Moody now and to be, at which time you all in unison will scream, Moody forever. Okay? So we're going to practice it now. So that is the reason why we are so proud to be Moody now and to be Moody forever. It's good. Let's try it one more time to make sure it needs to be even louder because Moody College has to represent tomorrow on the mall. So, and that is the reason why we're so proud to be Moody now and to be Moody forever. All right, you got it. Don't forget your line, all right? Tomorrow, it's going to be great. All right, so before we end tonight's program, I have one very last special group that all of us need to thank, and that is I ask all of our graduating students to please stand up, turn around, and show some serious love to your parents and family and friends and loved ones, because you would not be here without them. So graduates, please remain standing, and would everyone else please rise as we conclude our program with a traditional singing of the alma mater of the University of Texas at Austin. Ladies and gentlemen, the Eyes of Texas. Congratulations, Moody College, class of 2019. This commencement is now concluded, and what started here will change the world. Hook 'em horns.